Yeah.
Navi's so good on it.
Yeah, and there were issues with Flipside's train. We saw it in the qualifiers against, I think it was Optic actually, it was their CT side they ended up struggling on, but we are live into this Flipside. Beginning on the T side, of course, Navi did have the option of side choice in this. I hope we can get a little bit of sound as to what's going on, but already Flipside coming in with a hell of a lot of utility to play with this time. Only 2 players with armor.
And that just comes down to the tactical approach that Flipside's going to have, you know, as the in-game leader, using these kind of nades. It's one way they can kind of even up the skill gap, because all 5 members of Navi, they're such a deep team. So many players can have such a massive impact for Navi. So Flipside's got to have some tricks. They've got to have some kind of a tactical approach that can neutralize that.
And C's already been taken down so drastically. Gonna maybe open up a possibility of that B hit, but then again, Flipside not really overextending just yet, still taking their time, and they definitely have that plan in mind with all of those smokes still to play.
What that does do, since he's so incredibly low, it forces Flamey to come cheat over towards that inner bomb site. You can see he's already been pretty much dedicated there, just now rotating back a little bit. Guardian, this is great information, but they still don't have the full idea of what's coming. They don't know it could be Ivy, but Zeus is actually getting caught out. He's got to win this battle, and he's running out of bullets, and he still gets away somehow.
I don't know how he's gotten away with that, and relatively unscathed too. He took a little bit, but not that much. So now maybe with a little bit of a plan in mind, it seems like Navi are working out this could still be that A hit coming in.
And Flipside hasn't even moved across the map whatsoever. They've taken these battles, they've dealt the damage, they've poked, they've prodded, they've got a lot of intel. They've taken some damage actually themselves right now. Guardian doing some good work, but still Flipside hasn't committed anywhere.
Yeah, Blade still holding back on that molly. They still have those smokes. They're just being put down right about now. So the smokes to come in, going to lock off a touch of the bomb site itself. Guardian though going up from the push-up gets denied down from the push from Ivy, and now here comes a play from Flipside, aiming straight in towards that A-bomb site. 2 players already on there. Zeus will stop the initial plant, which was Waylander, but Blaze still going, and it's down to 3v3.
Yeah, there's been trades all into this bomb site, but it's down. Edwards looking over the smoke, doing good damage, but can't find these kills. That's a little bit of a bummer for Navi, an opportunity for him. Flamey now locked in a battle. Players of Flipside are very low, but they're still able to pick off Navi from range.
This has got to be surely Blade to do this. Shara solo, 15 HP, and it is Blade from Flamey, and it's, wow, closing out towards Edward as well. A massive round from him. 4 kills to kick this one off, and a very good start there for Flipside. It was highlighted on the desk quite predominantly that there has to be a good start for Flipside. They have to get themselves rolling, and that's a really nice way to start this one out.
And Blade being the one to put up 4 kills as well, that can only mean good things. You know, not someone known for his frag. They talked about guys like World Edit, we're going to have to be heat big. We've seen Markelov recently have some very big games for them as well. But Blade on the pistol round, and it didn't even really seem like they necessarily outplayed Navi. Guardian gets caught out being over-aggressive, pushing down Ivy, so they got a couple gimmies here and there. We saw that weird battle with Zeus in mid where he had an opportunity to get the kill, and just nothing seemed to go Navi's way. They had the fights they wanted, but nicely done from Flipside.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of people will be keeping their eyes on Navi throughout this tournament, arguably someone that people will be looking towards going very far, to say the very least. Of course,
absolutely.
top 3, top 4 at, if you're being quite, you know, reserved on it. But there has been a little bit of words here and there. I think the interview with Flamey came out saying that didn't have the ideal practice. He's not feeling well either. This could mean that there is weakness to be possibly exploited. But again, this is still very early stages. This is the group stages. And it's the first real glimpse of what we're going to be seeing from Navi so far.
The big thing as well is it's also all eyes on Guardian. He was very notorious for having that injury at the major where it seemed like he was, you know, off his game. He had to change the settings he was playing with to kind of adjust for the fact.
higher sense.
He had to jack his sense up because he just wasn't feeling like he could make the proper movements with his arms. So this is now kind of also looking at him and saying, okay, this guy is supposed to be the best opera in the world. Where exactly is he at? What we've seen out of Navi recently in some of their games since he's come back is actually it hasn't been that dominant individual performance from him and the team being based around him. It's been very much a spread out effort where every player is stepping up at a different point. Everyone's putting in their 15 to 20 kills and no one's really shining too far above the others.
Well, you looked at E-League, it was Seized and Zeus who had the big games. It was Edward and Guardian who were kind of missing, which was surprising. But
Flamey as well had some light games, but I mean, there's just too much power on these players for them to stay down for too long.
Exactly that. So we've got almost all the UMPs coming out for the T side. One rifle with Blade, and why not? He had the big first round. He can afford it a little more than the others. But Waylander going to go dashing in towards B. But a 4-play stack from Navi willing to greet this on the other side. Shara going to be a little cautious about this one, and I don't really blame him. There's 2 right there. He only finds 1, trading out 1 for 1 here, and Waylander not able to capitalize on any more.
Well, there's Zeus trading 1 off as well, and World Edit's still stuck in this battle. That nade keeps him from falling back. He's taking a lot of damage, and advantage goes to Navi. This is a very good start, and a little bit of team damage coming out from Flipside, so feeling the pressure, a little bit confused by that aggression from Navi, and this has actually bought plenty of time for Navi for that stack to break up. Now that 3rd player that was at the B bomb site has rotated towards the outer site, and they've got a good spread on this defense.
This could be pretty tough now for Flipside. They're in a bit of a pinch in this one, considering World Edit is so low as well. He's not able to take any real straight-up fights here. It's going to come down again heavily towards Blade if he wants to try and pioneer the way into this round. Guardian going to be going for the information all the way over by Ivy. Not going to overextend time, pulls himself back in. But just like Flipside have reset the pace a little bit and going to start considering maybe hitting that B side. One smoke goes down. No commitment off the back. And there's still 3 players here. Those 5-7s to hand can be pretty darn deadly. There's no disputing that at this sort of range. So again, not an easy round outcome for Flipside, but a slow, cautious beginning and build into this hit that may just about come through.
Yeah, and they have to commit here. There's only less than 30 seconds left. There's a Molotov kill to Zeus. That's huge. And a second one from Blade. He's been massive in these first 2 rounds. And nothing going for Na'Vi after that good start in a 4-on-3. They don't get any more kills on the entrance, so it's back into Flipside's favor. They've done good damage, but it seems like Flipside's going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah, run out of a little bit of steam there after Flipside just reset the pace. Flash comes out, slows them down. Seized and Guardian going to have to look some miracle shots here. And Seized actually being allowed a lot of room to work. A little bit surprising he got away with that. No mollies left. Nothing to stop this defuse coming in, and Guardian's taking a straight-up fight. He's going to keep Blade back, but he goes for the reload at the worst time, but here comes the cavalry. Seized come in, and it's going to be Guardian with the kit on the site now. As long as, well, one of them can hold it back, it would have been fine, but no, Guardian's got the defuse. He gets it down in the end, in the last couple of seconds, and well, it did get the kill, but it wasn't fast enough.
What a miracle play, and you said it, too much space is given for that Na'Vi player to push in the top of the trend. I believe that was Seized.
How was he allowed to get that far?
Yeah, there's just no one spotting for Flipside. Part of it is because of the low HP, but also Guardian. They have to make that swap because he's the only one with a kit. He's the only one with a chance to stick that defuse at the end, and somehow it works out for him. So a little bit of a fumble for Flipside, but with that plant, they're going to be right back into a buy. 3 AKs are going to be on the board. Tech 9 on Waylander, and Blade seems like he's just going to be the, he's actually hasn't bought anything quite yet. He's still in spawn. He's going to buy up a little bit late, so maybe thinking and talking with his troops, seeing what exactly he wants to execute.
These 2 teams are known for their very methodical style, just building into these rounds very slowly. So not the biggest waste in the world. And the thing actually that worked at E-League was those eventual B hits. They weren't particularly fast. They weren't necessarily the most pretty in the world, but they really did pressure likes of Flamey down. They caused C's to pull himself constantly over towards B, which seems to be now the default, almost running out for Na'Vi into this one. But we do have the AWP there with Guardian, so this again could cause a little bit of a difference, but he's been pretty much negated so far. He's not had much of a play into this.
You want to talk about these teams perhaps knowing each other a little bit. If you look at this buy out of Na'Vi, 3 M4s, the AWP and Guardian, with these purchases, they don't have any utility left already. I mean, they've only had, Zeus has only had an HE and a smoke for the last 30 seconds, so maybe knowing that Flipside is going to go up for the AK-47s, they want to be able to challenge him with the rifles of their own, but they're giving away a couple advantages in the fact that they can't block off choke points. They can't Molotov anything. They can't slow down any kind of execution with flashbangs. So it's got to be duels 1 from Na'Vi for here on out, and the big advantage is the AWP on Guardian.
Alrighty, that's going to be Zeus pushed out, position down to 6 HP. The pinch is going to come out now from the Flipside boys, and there you go, Waylander, the first in, barrels forward with the Tech 9, going to make his way straight towards site, pick up the Famous and look for more. Already pushing Na'Vi back slowly, but Flamey and Edward going to be trading effectively into this one, keeping the advantage towards Na'Vi's side, and there's the clothesline coming out from Flamey and Guardian, keeping this one in check.
Looked a little bit sketchy, and you could see without those nades, it was just overwhelming from Flipside. And the smokes that they set up around the bomb site, it almost seems like it was isolating some of the backup for Na'Vi, but eventually at the very end, they turn it in their favor. Flipside overextends a little bit, trying to push past the bomb train instead of just getting the plant down. Na'Vi comes out with it. That's going to force the save out of Flipside, so now they have a chance. Now they have that cushion. You can see C's going for the SMG, get a little bit of the money bonus, but they can start building up a bank behind this win.
Again, for Flipside, a plant would be absolutely perfect in this, but you can't really expect much more when you literally have the cleanest of buys, only 1 P250 invested into, and sees if he can rack up some funds, that would be brilliant. But whiffing a bit of a shot, they're going to have to back away, take another fight. It does mean the Waylander snuck through, but this should be comfortably dealt with. There really shouldn't be much to talk about here, as C's will at least find Waylander there. Now looks for more, gets caught out by Blade. Again, these sort of kills shouldn't be coming in so regularly, but Flamey going to keep this one in check. There's the rotate coming out, and Moda puts up a good fight, but eventually goes down. Losing out on Siege, which isn't the end of the world. He did have the SMG, but probably could have done a lot more there.
It was a little awkward for him there. He was getting surrounded from a bunch of different locations, but yeah, no big loss for him. And now look at this, the double up setup comes out. We started to see C's do this more often, pick up that secondary AWP. It's very dangerous, and now with no op of their own on the T side, Flipside doesn't have much to challenge it. It is going to be a big test for Blade to find ways to work around these 2 AWPs, or at least negate them so they don't just lose players and bleed manpower away.
Yeah, and if you go back to the E-League game as well, it was Wilded who was actually up on Guardian considering throughout that game once he got the AWP. So being without that so far might be a little bit of a waste, but actually a very quick hit towards A is going to be coming out, trying to maybe exploit the fact they expected a double AWP coming into play. That could be a factor here, but Zeus going to meet Wilded and look at Waylander straight forward, and Guardian just doesn't expect it. We're down to a 3v3 though.
And the bummer here is that they did this perfectly. Guardian was blind for the first 20 seconds. Zeus playing around the edge of the smoke is going to find another one. And Na'Vi recovers. Everything went perfectly for Flipside to start that. Guardian was entirely neutralized. But Seized up above finds the last kill. He's the one who rotates in and stops the pressure from Flipside. 4-1 now for Na'Vi. And again, it's going to be a situation where Flipside, they have no money to get any rifles on the board, so they're going to have to save one more time. Maybe a small investment to see if they can get the plant or maybe take some kills away from Na'Vi, force some rebuys. But now it's getting into that danger territory with his double op setup.
Yep. And towards the danger zone, it seems. 4-1, though. Flipside Tactics, as you said, they have invested very, very lightly into this. Still keeping themselves well above 2K. No real worries on that front. But it does seem as though the stars of before, at least into that round, were shining again. The surprise of Seized and Zeus being the ones to be really up on point, but a bit of a 3-2 split going to be working down from Pop. And actually, Waylander just smashes down Edward. A quick bit of a removal from the site, let's say, as Waylander only recovers a Mag 7, though. But maybe if he can find any more, that'd be brilliant. But Guardian's now getting greeted by 3. The timing was awful for Guardian. Getting a little bit lackluster on the peak then and has to back away, down to 20 HP, and great deals of damage being dealt towards Na'Vi so far.
This has turned into a sketchy situation for Na'Vi, but they should be able to come back into it because Flipside, they only have the one smoke on Waylander that he salvaged. They didn't invest much into this round, and they don't really have much that they can go for from here because it's going to be wide open battles against the M4s, against the AWPs. There's no flashbangs to force him away. But still, Flipside's being patient. They're going to try and see if Na'Vi's going to make the mistake of trying to counter with some aggression to try and figure out what's coming, see if they can get some, some sneaky kills. But no one's doing that so far for the defense.
And Zeus is going to have to pick up the position of Guardian. You can see that Flamey's put himself towards A, and Seized is selling out on B. So the best I thought they could really hope for would be a plant, and that may still be on the cards here, considering how they approach that B site if Waylander and Shara do commit. But this could be quite a nice split if it does come through in the end. It's going to really cause these guys to split themselves on the site, and that's what's happened right now.
It's going to have to be very coordinated. They're split everywhere. There's no one grouped up. They have no advantage in numbers, even with the weaker weaponry. Zeus now, the timing is the smoke is going to be huge, and he's going to find one. So is Flamey. So the danger is gone. Everything gets shut down. And Na'Vi can breathe a little bit easier, though Markov has a chance to pick a couple more off. Guardian and Flamey were very low, but thankfully there's that op at range out in the open.
Yeah, 12 and 20 HP at the end of those for those two players. That could have been a little bit worse than it started with, but kept, again, in check. Na'Vi seeming to pull themselves back in line, making sure they don't lose any of these rounds that you can see plaguing other teams, let's say, so far in this tournament. So keeping themselves well set. But we're finally going to see the AWP coming out for World Edit. So that's something we want to be looking at, seeing how he plays into this. Does that have an instant effect at all? But the double AWP still present on the Na'Vi side is going to be a huge hindrance to maybe it having its place into this round at least. But again, Flipside have a lot of opportunities here. It's still far from over. This is still a relatively CT-sided map to most people's opinions. And I don't seem to differ from that, but Guardian going to take a very quick peek towards B, and he's got back up there. 2 players with him. Yeah,
look at this change up in the defense. 3 plays towards inner. They stacked it earlier on that second round, doing it again here, and without any of the pressure, Guardian wants to get more aggressive, close up with the AWP, and there's very few people who feel comfortable taking this fight. Guardian as one of the best. He's going to turn the corner. He gets it. Got one more coming, but that's a good trade from Seized. Baits Waylander at least right into the second op. You can see Zeus instantly ready for the kind of response from Flipside. Markloff and World both held back quite drastically by Ivy, not able to make a quick play to try and exploit that stack on B, so resetting the battlefield almost. But Blade snuck his way out a little here. He's got a little bit of room, but not much. Still on the ladder, still not finding any info, and there is Edward pushed up pretty darn close by Electric, so Blade could struggle with this one, considering there are the AWPs down at the back of Ivy as well. You can see a little bit of a peek comes out from Flamey, but it's Blade to trade out again. World Edit finally comes into it, finding Edward, but it's down to a 2v2 here. Zeus has the shot, he adjusts perfectly on it, but World Edit on 2 is going to keep this one close. He knows where Zeus is, roughly down by the old bomb train. Flash comes out, but Zeus going on a bit of a mission here. Going walkabouts all the way around the map, and now World Edit can adjust. Chooses to go for the M4 over the AWP. Here's a molly, a flash, and a smoke, so still a little to work with, whereas Zeus has nothing here. This is going to be really tough for Zeus to find him out. World Edit, though, and he takes the angle. Zeus has to find him. There's so many different places he can be in. He's just left in a really, really tough spot. That's kind of the danger when you rotate around through CT spawn like that. That's a lot of time for your eyes to be taken off that outer train yard. And the reason he does it is the danger of that AWP at the range he was at. He doesn't want to have to mess with that, doesn't want to have to get into that long-range battle with an AWP. But still, World Edit gets plenty of time to readjust his position. So nice win from him, 2-5, but now they have to build on that because buying into this round, it's only World Edit who really has any kind of economy left over. Everyone else is kind of, bought out towards the end. So if they lose this, it's going to be back onto pistols again. This could be
Pretty treacherous, but this time around we're seeing the more default. We saw Ely coming out from Na'Vi. We've got that 4-1 play, but it's Edward getting aggressive down towards Pop. He's gonna be looking for info. You can hear the spray coming out, but Flamey gonna be walking away on 14. Shara gonna try and build off the back of that. Seized. Not landing this round. Somehow Shara gets away scot-free. That's
a pretty smart play. It's very, very aggressive from Shara, but he knows, or he gets the idea that he can at least have a chance to get a couple shots off. Unfortunately, he just doesn't land any of them. Now sees this is the battle he wants to take, and that's an easy one. Waylander out in the open. He goes for a second, doesn't get that flick. A little bit partially blind, but meanwhile, they've snuck out lower ramp. It's going to be Flamey who's got to be very careful.
That 14 HP better come up with the goods, and it almost does. It sees, though, to keep control of this one again, catching out Shara eventually, but Blade does get the bomb down on 1 HP. It's a little bit worse for wear here. Markloff does have the molly, but 1v4 is closing in on Miracle sort of territory here, and Edward already going to go for the fight, and you can see the fire comes in instantly. Na'Vi not going to let that one happen. They're going to close this one out, and again, Flipside's money wasn't looking great before, and now, well, not going to be looking too much better. So, Na'Vi building well, starting to, you know, get a little bit more dominance building back into this one, and Flipside going to have to look at what they can do here. Well, it was fine, because as you said in the last round, did have the economy building early after that 3K first as he picked up that AWP, but we're going to be seeing the pistols out again.
Yeah, they just can't do anything with this buy. That would concede so much power into this half. They've got another chance here where they can save one more round. That plant's going to help out moving forward. So just the pistols. There were opportunities in that round for Flipside. You know, we talked about Shara missing his 1 kill. I'm not sure if Waylander thought he was completely hidden, but C's is going to take that all day long. Unfortunately, the bummer is they had the economy of Na'Vi very low. They had him in that situation where they could break them if they just had won another round. But now with the fact they only killed 1 person in that, Na'Vi's able to build right back up again. So it's going to be another situation where the economy of Na'Vi is very strong, and they've been doing this all half. It's been Guardian before, but Flamey now pushing up Ivy is going to gain them a lot of info.
You can even see the way they're coming into these rounds. They're playing quite deep, I guess, at the start when they know they're coming against pistols. This time, Edward is going nowhere near Pop. Before, I think it was Wayland who managed to catch him out with the Mag 7. Not going to be able to be doing any of that this time around. So again, Na'Vi reading this well, and look at Flamey. This guy is getting so much information already. Markloff's going to just peek out. Great timing on that. I don't know how he expected it to happen. I'm not sure he heard a step possibly, but Flamey now in a bit of a dance here, but he knows where they're heading towards, and they're going to take this as the word go, basically, and it's going to allow the rest of Na'Vi to try and just tighten that noose, and that's exactly what's happening, leaving Blade again, your last man alive, an easy cannon fodder for Guardian in the end, just going to build up those stats and start looking pretty comfortable here. This is a good CT side starting to come out.
That push from Flamey, it almost makes Flipside feel really uncomfortable. It seemed like they wanted to wait a little bit longer, but Marklov's just like, all right, we've got to go. We're about to all die. And they just executed a little bit earlier than they were comfortable with. And Na'Vi, you're right, exactly. Just easy picking at that kind of distance. So now back with the weaponry. The AWP is back in World at its hands. They have the smokes. They have some flashes and Molotovs to use. Got to start putting rounds on the board. This double AWP setup for Na'Vi has been very strong since it came out.
Yeah, it's been incredibly impressive. And look at this. Again, the CT side is just really bringing variety to the forefront here. Seized coming over instantly to try and support by A, maybe expecting another of those fast hits that came up before on that buy-up when they had the AWP previously. Not going to be the case this time. Looks a little more default than usual, or at least a little bit more stacked towards the A hit. But again, Na'Vi seem to be mentally very well prepared for this.
And this comes down to Starix being one of the most well-respected coaches we have in the pro scene, and the different looks that we've seen him throw at him. Even gambling with putting, like you said, no bodies at the inner bomb site initially on this round, expecting that kind of a fast play from Flipside. Obviously have a lot of knowledge of how they like to play because they've played them twice in the past week or two. And Starix is just seeing he can catch him off guard with some kind of a setup.
We'll see if it works out. Still a minute on the board. These two teams like to run that clock down as long as they can. There's still so much utility with the T side. There's no rush on this. They can play those smokes out as they feel. But again, maybe hoping that they could catch someone on a bit of an aggressive stance. Not going to be the case this round. As we noted, it was all attention towards A for the CT side. But bringing it back in, Zeus pushing himself up pretty close again. This play by Electric has been paying off, and then some. He's got the support of Flamey. He's got Guardian there down by the back of Ivy. Hell, he's even got Edward playing up by Pop. So this is a very instant contact play, and here we go. Edward's going to swat the feet coming down the ladder. Doesn't expect the second. Wayland's got another shot at it, but the second by the cherry doesn't go any better, but it's Blade again with the goods coming up through Ivy, and Markloff joins in. And that's 4 kills back-to-back, just given over towards Flipside, and now Seized. Gonna have to do some insane play here. Whiffs the pop flash over the top. Gonna go for a quick, aggressive play to try and catch off the bomb plant. He gets out Markloff now 1v1. Blade with 2, Seized with 2. And Blade, nerves of steel there, gets the bomb down. And Seized doing a bit of a dance of death here with Blade. Nade towards the left, Blade is low, that's 39 HP, down to 20, and a sick bit of play from Seized coming out, keeping this one again in the hands of Na'Vi. It seems that nothing Flipside do is ever good enough.
Well, that round was definitely good enough for Flipside. There were actually 2 great crossfires set up by Na'Vi at this outer train yard, and for whatever reason, it just seemed like once initial contact was made in ladder room by Edward, they stopped trusting the setups that they had. Zeus fell without getting a kill. Guardian looked away from his spot for just a half second. That's all it took. And then Flamey was left all alone, and he eventually falls. But Seized with the heroics really pulls him out of a tough spot. And Flipside, that's one of those rounds you lose that in a 3-on-1, and that's just got to make you feel so much worse for the rest of the half.
And it felt like it was such a long time in the making as well. These guys haven't had great success making it towards the A-bomb site. As you said, the crossfires did pay off, eventually coming in towards it with Blade and Markelov. So surely a really frustrating round to be sent back in on. But 8-2 scoreline-wise, any Na'Vi fans out there are going to be very pleased with this as a beginning for them after a couple of questions of their performance, I guess, individually, and how is Flamey going to fare? How's he feeling? This hasn't been a huge test of them so far. They've been keeping this one into check. But, you know, Flipside in this round have so little to play with. A couple of Deagles, Tech 9s, a P250, and a Flash for World Edit. So, looking to do some damage. Last time, I think they took down a couple of players. Almost got a bomb plant out of it, but Zeus up so close and personal. Not going to allow Blade to step out too far. Takes a touch of damage, but nothing much. But it's going to be Seized who has to come up with the goods this time. He's got 3 players looking to exploit him, being a little bit aggressive here. The molly goes down in upper, does catch out Waylander, and it just seems so cool under this pressure. And look at that play from Seized. This is a player on point. And now it's Markelov left with nothing to do in this round.
We mentioned Seized has been one of the standouts for Na'Vi recently. He's at 16-4 so far in this match. He has an incredible performance so far. Obviously, that 1-on-3 last round is incredible. But again, another look from the defense as well from Na'Vi. Another way they're putting pressure on Ivy with Flamey pushed up halfway, just waiting for Guardian to take the shot. Kind of a bait and switch. So Na'Vi being very deceptive in their defensive setups. And this was an easy round. And it all stems off the fact that with Seized playing like this and just the type of player he is, to have that much faith in one person holding the inner bomb site close up with an AWP the way he was, that's a lot of trust in him to be able to make the smart play, make the good decision when he has pressure put on him.
Yeah, incredibly cool and calm in that situation. It is incredibly hard when you've got
It's paying off, right?
It is, massively so. It's ridiculously good how well he's playing at this point. And why not trust a player if he's having a hot couple of games? If he's having a good run of things, why not give him that? It gives so much over towards the team. 9-2 now, though. Flipside starting to look a little bit worse for wear. 2 rounds is just not good enough at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, they did pick up the first pistol round as well. So only 1 real round off the back of that, and that was given over by World Edit with that 3K that he picked up.
Again, another round where Na'Vi sends the majority of their players, all 5 in fact, out towards the A-bomb site. No one watching it, or Sees just now rotating back. The scary thing about this is one player has already crossed towards upper. They could have already been pressuring him, so he's counting on the fact that they've beaten up Flipside enough to where no one is going to be confident enough to make that aggression. Guardian misses the initial shot, but again, it's this bait and switch setup, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
I don't think I've seen Flamey push up to this spot, at least so far. So
Last round he did it, but he didn't, they didn't see anyone.
Right. So again, I love this variety, because Na'Vi seem to always, every now and then, they seem to switch a couple of pieces up in the Na'Vi puzzle, I guess, and it always pays out so heavily for them. So this is a good look for Na'Vi right now. Flamey can just log off Markelov, who's been liking to pressure down Ivy. He's been, you saw it in the last round as well, he only had the Deagle to work with. Likes to play that kind of catch anyone on the back, but at the moment, they've actually caused a little bit of trouble here. Looking at the B side, there's absolutely no one there. Seized has pulled himself over, so in theory, Flipside, of course they don't know this, could easily walk in towards that B site and have an absolute whale of a time, but not going for it in 34 seconds left. This is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a fake from Flipside, and they will eventually head to that inner bomb site. The bomb is there. Markelov, he can't even get that first kill. Flamey does find him, but it's pulled Seas away. So the fake has worked. There's been a trade. It's a 4-on-4, but it's going to be easy access into this bomb site. Blade still fighting outside, and there's Seas. World Edit picks him off, patiently waiting on the lower ramp. And here comes the bomb plant.
Okay, now into the 3v3. Let's see what they've got as a setup here. The retake's going to be pretty tough from Na'Vi. Waylander, Shara, and World Edit all staying down pretty much by the bomb site. No one retracting back towards the brown halls, but Guardian, first one to go looking, and he's going to find it. World Edit gets absolutely smashed out of this one. Now 2 left, Shara and Waylander. Better have a 6 set up here, and it's not good enough. Waylander gets swept aside, and Shara not going to have the impact he wanted. Means the defuse is coming out, and Na'Vi again starts stretching their legs further. This is a bit of a whitewash so far.
Yeah, such strong coordination from Na'Vi on that retake. Even with Seized falling that time, a 3-on-3 with the post plant and Guardian. I mean, he picks off World Edit, maybe a little bit of an aggressive peek from him. That's a crucial position, especially with the AWP, to hold to protect your teammates who haven't been able to get out of the bomb site. So 10-2, the fake works, and that's the thing with Flipside. Some of the tactics they've ran here have worked initially in these rounds, and it's the late round situations. It's a 1-on-3 from Seas. It's that 3-on-3 beautifully executed retake from Na'Vi. Flipside just can't handle it at the end of the rounds.
Well, this is the thing. They are often hailed as the mini Na'Vi tactically to some degree, but then they always seem to lack the firepower unless someone has those big performances. Now, of course, a couple of players have been playing well, and a couple of players have had those individual moments, but it's just not consistent in comparison to Na'Vi at this point. But again, it's so hard to know what you're coming up against with Na'Vi here.
The big thing about the firepower with Flipside is that Blade is actually leading the way in terms of fragging power for them at the moment. He's doubling up his nearest teammate. World Edit, Waylander, these are the guys that you expect to be the ones putting in the majority of the work, at least on the scoreboard. And when Blade has this many kills and his teammates don't, something is going wrong.
Something's going wrong this round already. Markelov gets swept aside. He's removed from down by Ivy. That's going to give Guardian complete vision. And it's allowing a couple of players to get themselves into a bit of a different spot. Already starting to read into what Flipside were intending to do this round, but Zeus pushing up as well. Blade, it's a dangerous game you're going to be playing if you even fancy going out that way. Got to be careful on that. Zeus going to smoke himself out. And Guardian actually backs off from this, so not overextending, not going to stay his welcome. And now 50 seconds left. This looks like a B here, but it could change up at any second here.
The issue as well for Flipside at the moment is because of this passive playstyle. I mean, look at this. Guardians just picking them off with the AWP. They've lost 2 members, and they haven't made progress anywhere. They haven't even probed enough to know what kind of setup they're executing into. It's just one of those things where eventually the call comes in to hit the B bomb site, and you hope and pray that the setup is ineffective from Na'Vi, but so far it hasn't worked out that way, and Zeus on the flank.
Well, it knows this could be a possibility, but it doesn't seem to matter. The spray almost connected towards Shara as well. And the 2 remaining players are in a world of trouble, and Guardian just puts them out of their misery with Edward in tow, and this has been a beautifully read game from Na'Vi so far.
I mean, the picks by Guardian just allows Zeus to basically corral Flipside and have such a fast flank, even when they get into the bomb site. Even with World Edit knowing that it was a possibility, still can't win the battle. It's still just a little bit unexpected. 16-5 for Seized. 12 kills each for Zeus, Edward, and Flamey. And this is just suffocating defense from Na'Vi. They've thrown so many looks at Flipside now that Flipside is really unsure how to play the beginning of these rounds because they face the aggression, they face the close-up Na'Vi members in choke points, so they have to be very careful at how they approach everything. And it's just Na'Vi's thrown them completely off their rhythm. This has been a really nice game plan out of Starks.
Well, limited work put in at the start, they said themselves, but it's clearly paying off and already damage being shoved into the face of Flipside here. Look at this play. Guardian and Edward having their way with them. And my word, Markelov and Waylander just left there reeling at the back of what's just been done. And Flamey and Zeus finding the last 2, trying to find their way out towards A, and they're just being locked out here.
And finally, it pays off for Na'Vi. That was another round. They send all 5 members to that outer bomb site. They've been waiting patiently for this fast tactic from Flipside to come out towards that A bomb train, and it's finally paid off. They ran it 2 or 3 times, and the fast tactic didn't come. Finally, it does, and you can see it's just a slaughter. So really nicely done from Na'Vi doing their homework. 12-2. I mean, even if Flipside gets this last one, it's such a dire situation for them going into the second half.
We have a double AWP and an auto sniper. Why not? Why not? You know what? They can barely get a buy-in on Flipside side. So it's not a great position to be in, and Zeus is the one with that auto sniper looking to do the spam right through towards upper, and no one's there right now, but bearing in mind Waylander and Shara weren't far off at that point.
It's the psychological damage of just hearing that gun go off.
We have not had a good half.
Like, this is not going to go well.
Guardian's getting angsty here. He wants to find this. He knows Markelov's been playing this spot, and he is so hungry for this kill.
He knows he's there, and he's isolated him. He's prevented him from falling back. So now Guardian just is like a shark, but that's a great shoulder peek from Markelov. Still can't get much out of it.
Here comes the cavalry, very loud as well. Guardian finds that even through the corner of the wall, but it's going to spur on the play from the T side now, trying to make their way towards the A bomb site. Finally having some fairly good trades into this, but Flame is now going to pick up the mantle, and it's going to pay off just as well with Guardian's AWP rattling off as the final shot of this half. And 13-2, Moses. This is not a pretty picture.
This is why Na'Vi is so good on train. This is just an incredible defense, and now you switch over to a side of the map where they're probably the best team in the world on the offensive train as well.